liked it. I mean, the UIs kind of suck, man, because the dives that we had some real like questionable dives, man. Like we had some ones that were actually on their shit that knew what the fuck they were doing. Then we had one dude that was bipolar as fuck, bro. Like bipolar as fuck, and we was actually going to periscope depth. And I remember going. I was like, oh man, like I need to get this signature. So I want to go to periscope depth. Did the whole permission shit. Got in the seat. We got up to the point where we briefed going to periscope depth, talked about the sea state and all that shit. And then this motherfucker whispers in my ear, if you fuck this up, I'm gonna scold fuck the shit out you. Right? So, and I remember just sitting there like, oh shit, I hope I don't fuck this up. And then like, it was like a C state fucking 3 or 4. So C states is like equivalent, like, you know, we got 1 to 5 and anything above a 2, some shaky ass water, man. So it's like, oh fuck. Like, yeah, I can't fuck this up. So the whole time I'm going up, like he got his hand on my shoulder and he's squeezing, he's calling the depth out as we going. I'm like, man. And like one of the best things, like, you know, parking the boat was, I used to love doing that shit.
Yeah.
Like you get to, like you accelerating fast as shit going up, and then like you get to a point where you park that bitch and you just like it just sits. That's probably one of the like it's best feelings ever, man.
See, that goes for a good team. So a good stern planesman, good helms. So a helm can't really park it without the help of his stern planesman. The stern planesman can't do it without his helm. It's 2 different drivers for the same thing. And, you know, you drive the submarine for so long, sitting next to the same guy for so long, you start to learn each other's tendencies and stuff like that, and you start forming like almost like a mental bond. All right, I know exactly when we're going to do this, when we're not going to do this. So like you said, like parking the submarine, for people who don't know, when you're driving by depth, you're literally looking at it in feet, the numbers in feet, and it goes up and down. And you're driving this enormous piece of equipment, and parking the submarine basically means you are stopping it on a dime at a certain depth. So let's say we're at 300 feet and we wanted to go to 200 feet. And on a normal situation, if both of the drivers are new and they're not used to each other, they might overshoot by a couple feet, you know, like 7 feet or something like that. I think it was anything after 10 feet, you kind of had to call it out. I'm not sure, I don't remember. But you would miss it by like 7 feet or so, which isn't too bad or anything. You kind of even it out. You know, you would be fighting each other a little bit.
Right.
Well, when you had an experienced team, especially like battle stations, helm and stern planesmen, they're supposed to be the best, and you know they coincide pretty well. You can park it, literally park it. So let's say we're going from 300 to 200, 300 feet to 200 feet. You would literally go from 300 feet and park it exactly at 200 feet, which it might not sound impressive to people that haven't driven before, but when you're driving this enormous piece of machinery and you can literally park it within a foot of where it's supposed to go, it can be kind of impressive. I'm just gonna say.
And like sometimes driving, man, you got like bragging rights, like throughout the sections, because like say, you know, every section will go to PD at one point or other day, and then you'll have like, you know, you got bad water, so you be in a sea state 3 or something like that, and then as soon as you get on watch, oh, this section didn't broach, and broaching was like the boat just you supposed to stay low enough to where only the periscope, high enough where only the periscope can go out. But sometimes the ship would just hit the surface of the water. Then, you know, you broach, you got to go back down, do all the shit. So that'd be bragging rights. Like, oh, you know, section 1 didn't broach. So what you gonna do, section 3? Oh man, we got it. Like, we ain't gonna fucking broach. Then you fucking broach, and then now you got to debrief with the fucking CEO. Well, what happened? I don't know.
Yeah. There's definitely submariners are definitely competitive creatures, man. We like to compete against each other, and like you said, with different watch sections, you know, the watch before be like, yeah, we didn't broach, and it's a C state 3 or C state 4 or something like that. Which for people who know, it's like C state 1 is like calm, like no waves, and then when you get to C state 4, C state 5, that's extremely choppy. You know, you're in a storm kind of thing. So yeah, you know, you have watch sections be like, yeah, we didn't broach, and it's a C state 3, and then the next section will be like, all right, well, we can't fucking broach, you know. they'll be fighting and stuff. And yeah, that can be pretty crazy. Um, I'll say this: I have only been seasick once when I was on submarines, only once, and it was during a really really bad storm, and I think it was my first or second deployment. I can't remember. And dude, it was so bad that we actually had to buckle up. We had to put the seatbelts on.
God damn.
Yeah, it was that bad. We're getting tossed and turned like this. And I remember the doc was giving out the pink pill. Remember the pussy pink pill is what we
Yeah,
called it.
yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't want to be one of those guys that like, yeah, I gotta take this pill because you start throwing up everywhere if you get seasick. So I was like, I don't want to be the first one to take one of these pills. And so I waited long enough for someone else to be like, Doc, I gotta get one of those pills. And I was like, yeah, I gotta get one too.
Right. Yeah, man. That underway life was shit, bro. But you know what? What tripped me out? The worst part about being underway was fucking fast cruising.
That was the worst.
The dumbest shit ever. Because you're so fast cruising is when you're sitting on the pier. You're still in the mooring lines and everything like that, and you act like the ship is out to sea when you're still on the fucking pier. And I used to think that was the dumbest shit ever because it was like an all day event. You know, the nukes will come in maybe 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, get the fucking reactor started. Everybody else will trickle in about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. And then, well, I say about like I think we trickled in about 4:30, 5 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, they shut the hatches. Now you're underway and you're fucking pier
Yeah.
side. And you go through the whole watch rotation and all that shit. And bro, that shit was stupid, man.
Yeah, I mean, that was uh that was never fun because usually fast cruising um is normally like a couple days before your actual deployment, so you're already dreading going out to sea, you know. And well, for us anyways, I don't know if that was the same for fast tax, but yeah, you would
Yep.
literally your submarine would literally be attached to the pier still have mooring lines and all that stuff. You would all the entire crew would go down into the submarine to close the hatches, and you pretend to be deployed for a day. Like you said, the nukes would be starting up the reactor. All kinds of other stuff would start going. There's an actual maneuvering watch, even though you're not like going anywhere. Um, so for me, I would actually have to get armed up in the Mark 43 and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just kind of annoying, especially for me. Anyways, like it's usually like a day or two, maybe 3 days before your actual deployment. So you want to get shit done, or you want to see people. You don't want to have to play pretend next to a fucking pier
Right.
when the next couple of days you're going to be gone for 90 days.
Right.
I don't know.
And,
I thought
that's,
it was,
and especially, man, if you had like if you had duty stations, so we in port, I don't know about y'all, but we was on a 4-day duty rotation. So if your duty day, we used to fast cruise on Fridays. So if you had a 24-hour duty on Thursday, that means you're not going home or nothing like that on Friday until Friday night. So you've been on the fucking boat already for 24 hours. And
yeah.
then you wake up and bam, now you gotta do this fucking fast cruise, and they telling how long this shit gonna last for. And oh man, that shit used to eat my like fucking like eat me up to the core, man. That shit was stupid.
Talk about all right. So being attached to the pier, it might not have been the same for fast tech guys like you,
Yeah.
since you were all one crew. But for us, when it's attached to, well, no, you guys had to have this. So when you're attached to the pier, you have to stand topside watch and
Oh yeah, we had that. Yeah.
yeah. So there'd be times, bro, when there'd only be certain people qualified because people move on from different submarine to submarine. Like the senior guys, they move on. There's more junior guys coming in.
Right.
Well, there was one period of time when we it was me and TM2. It was one of the torpedo men. we were the only two guys in our section that were qualified topside and petty officer of the deck. And so, or we weren't the only two guys, but we're the only two guys in different sections.
Mm-hmm.
So we would port and starboard. And what that means is every other watch, you would be standing watch rather than being four section,
yeah,
time off. And dude, it was a time when we were port and starboard, and the watches never changed to like 12 hours or anything like that. So it would be like 6 hours of watch, you're off 6 hours, and then 6 hours of watch, and then like when it became like midnight, the watches would change to like shorter watches. It would be like, you'd stand and watch for 2 hours or 3 hours, and then switch to 2 hours or 3 hours. But we're doing port and starboard, man. It's hard to get sleep, and it's hard to like just focus. And that went on for a couple of weeks, man. Weeks doesn't sound a long time, but when you're port and starboard for a couple of weeks, boy, that shit will fucking wear you down.
So y'all, when you said port and starboard, so it'd be like, let's say for instance, like Monday you would have watch, Tuesday he will have. Well, no, you're talking about doing the duty day or like duty
days, yeah.
Oh, duty. Okay. Because like we had at one point we were going to go port and starboard because we were having so many people like dropping out, like so we had duty. So we moved to two duty sections to where you had duty this day, the next duty, like the next person will have duty this day, the next section will have duty that day. That shit was rough. But you talking about like in the day. Okay. That shit's still rough because you don't have time to do shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, like you said too, like there's also port and starboard during the day, switching days too. If there's only two sections, then you would really have no time off. You would have your duty day, then the next day you would have off, but you would really just be kind of like recouping from that previous day. You wouldn't have time to do anything.
Yeah.
And that can wear you down pretty good. That can wear you down really good. Yeah, that was port and starboard is never fun. Don't let anyone tell you different.
Yeah, I was trying to explain, to some people. I was trying to explain to my wife too, because my wife is in the Army now, and she's been in for almost 3 years now, and I think she stood duty twice for her 3 years being in, for almost 3 years being in. Like, and she complained about the 24-hour duty. Then I was like, man, you have no idea the bullshit that we went through in port, because we stood duty every 4 days, 24 hours. And then if you had holiday stand down, that was condensed to 3 days. And you really couldn't do much, but you confined to that ship. And then special on top of that, you still work for us, it was from 7:45 to whenever they let you go.
Yeah.
Like they let you go whatever time, but you still have to report at 7:45. And then on top of that, if you had duty, and then at one point they used to be nice and be like, all right, if you had duty yesterday, you off duty this day, you can leave at turnover. And then we end up getting the whole new CO. He was like, fuck that. Y'all gonna work till noon until we got anything else that's gonna happen. So there'd be days where you got 24-hour duty, but you still end up working to fucking 16, 1700, just depending on what the workload was like. And then that shit was tough, man. Like that shit would like tell you like wear you down. That shit would wear you fuck down. But you got so used to it to where it was just part of your schedule. Like it's coming up, you're used to it.
It's got to be one thing about the Navy. I'm guessing the military in general, but they will put you through so much awkward fucking working schedules that when you get in the civilian world, like especially right after you get out, like you can't stand to hear them like civilians complain about their work schedules and stuff like that. You're like, you gotta work 8 hours, come on.
Yeah.
And that's that. At least that's one thing that prepare you for. But you hit up on one thing that I kind of want to get into. We'll probably get into more in the next episode, but I kind of want to start on it. Is talk about the dropouts in submarines, and for us, anyways, we call them sad pandas. They would, tap out. Tap out. They're sad pandas.
Yeah.
And basically, so when you volunteer for submarines, there's really no way out unless you, um, I don't even know. I don't even know.
Once you volunteer, you can't get out the shit. So you in it unless you just if you play the game right, you can get out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but it goes back to when new guys come on the submarine and they get treated bad and stuff. A lot of them tap out like I don't want to be here. It's more common when they're nubs tapping out, like leaving, um, because they're treated bad, just to see if they can make it, you
Right.
know. And it's more common that way. Now, if you already have your fish, I don't even remember anyone getting out of submarines when they already had their fish.
I think I seen a few do it,
Actually,
but
did stuff.
they had like other stuff going on in life that was just where I know for a fact for a fat stack man, you don't have no lifestyle like that. So,
Yeah.
I joined the boat in '09. 2010, I can tell you I was on land for a total of 2.5 months, and that's broken up from January to December. So most of that
A
time was
whole
out to
year.
sea. So
Wow.
so for a whole year, I was probably on land. I'll say give or take maybe 2.5 months, and I may be giving myself a little more days, man.
Yeah.
So and then if you got a family, your life is you can't manage. You can't really do what you
It's
want to do.
unpredictable
It's unpredictable.
for people that might be thinking of joining and join subs. If you already have a family, I'd say try the boomer route, the one I did. Um, there's shorter deployment schedules, and you can kind of time them out a little bit better than you would a fast tech.
Right.
Because normally you're in and out for 3 months, 3 months in, 3 months out, 3 months in, 3 months out. Sometimes a little bit longer, sometimes a little bit shorter, but you can kind of time that stuff. Um, for fast techs, I know you guys go out a little bit longer uh, than we do, and it's kind of a little bit more unpredictable.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my worst fast tag story was I went on leave for 2 weeks. I put in leave for 2 weeks.
That's how it starts, right?
It's
That's how it
always
always
nice,
starts.
man. I was like, hey, I got 14 days to burn. I'm about to burn these 14 days, man. So I was like, so I was in Hawaii, bro. So we can't get our tickets in advance because you just don't know. So I remember coming home. Uh, my parents was like, hey man, no, we have a family reunion coming up this weekend, or not this weekend, like in 2 weeks. Can you come? 2 weeks. Hey, we're not scheduled to go out to sea for another like 2 months. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and drop this leave real quick, man. So I don't know if anybody just fucking bought a ticket from Hawaii back to the mainland, and oh man, that shit ran me about $900 for a 2 week. That was a round trip, $900, man. But I was like, it's worth it. I'm gonna be home for 2 weeks. I'll drop the $900, whatever, right?
Yeah.
2 fucking days later of me being on leave, man, I get a fucking phone call from a Wine One. Um, did you buy insurance on your flight? No. Fuck. Yeah, we need you to come back because we got a surge deployment in
I
three
bet you didn't even
days.
get that money back.
Nope. Nope. He said, we're gonna try to draft up a letter right now and send it to you so you can send it to the airlines. I'm like, now I gotta find a fucking ticket to get back tomorrow morning,
So you got to spend
so we
more
can go
money.
out to sea in 2 days. I was like, man, that was probably one of them times being a fast tag where like, yeah, this shit is trash, man.
Yeah. There's plenty of times, man. Like, well, I never had an experience like that uh, of getting recalled off the leave. Thank God. But yeah, there was plenty of times when it was you'd be out to sea and you just have the worst fucking attitude because for whatever reasons, man, like you might just be, depressed because you're separated from family and friends, or you just might be mad because you're on deployment. I mean, that should
Right.
just happen. You're human, you have fucking normal emotions and stuff, but you're also separated from the world.
Yeah.
And dude, there'll be times when like shit just rubs you the wrong way, or people just rub you the wrong way, you
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
you can just be like, fuck this place, I don't want to be here, you know. people go through that all the time. I don't care who you are when you're on the sub. Everyone's at least had that thought at least once. Like, just fuck this place. I don't want to be here. You know?
Yeah. But you got to think about it too, man. You're underway with 100 plus dudes, man.
Yeah.
Men. So for however long you out, that's nothing but fucking testosterone, bro. That's
Yeah.
building up. And then like I used to look at being underway was, hey, I get one opportunity to really escape from reality. Like whatever I got going on at home, whatever I got going on where I'm stationed at, whatever like that, I can escape from it for X amount of time I'm out to sea, right?
Yeah.
But during that time, it's like, all right, you manifesting your thoughts for that time you out, but then you hear, no, this dude bitching and complaining about this dude bitching and complaining about that, and now it's like, all right, I'm trying to deal with the fuck I got going on. I can fuck what you got going on or what you got going on, and then it's that tension. I'll say you gotta once again, man, you trapped in a fucking tin can underwater.
Nowhere to go.
No, the only place you can go for us was the ship's office or your fucking rack.
Right. Yeah.
Other than that, that was it, man. Like you had no escape from the people that you were out on the sea with. And but I mean it is what it is. Like a submarine life, man, it's different. It's not for everybody.
It's definitely different, bro. It's not for everybody, that's for sure. I don't think anyone really knows what they're getting into until they're actually on the submarine, to be honest. Like, I don't think anyone knows that they're going to be a submariner until they're actually there. You know, they don't know they're going to actually make it or if they actually want it until they're actually there because it's a weird lifestyle, but it's a very rewarding lifestyle at the same time. You meet really good people. It is very much like almost like a family. And especially when you get your fish and everything like that.
Right.
But I think we covered this in previous episodes. You know, you love them and you hate them. You know, because you're stuck with 150 to 160 other guys for 3 months. For me, for 3 months. For you, even longer. You know, and you know, there's nowhere to go. Like you said, you go to ship's office or you're wrecked. So you're dealing with a lot of people's problems. You're dealing with your problems and you're dealing with their problems because they're gonna keep fucking making them known.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it's rough. I don't want to ever compare it to jail because it's not. But you have to find a routine, dude. You have to find a routine because, like we said, you have 18-hour days, very set schedule. You're stuck with who you're stuck with. There's no avoiding it.
Yep.
You're cut out from the outside world. So, you know, the most we can do is email our families. So you really have to find a routine. So for me, you know, I worked out a lot. I was in great shape back then. You know, I would drive the submarine, and then my off time, I would make the plan of the day. And after the plan of the day, there's not much to do. So I would just go work out and fucking do pull-ups or lift weights, run the treadmill. Yes, we do have treadmills on submarines. And afterwards, I would sleep. So you got to find a routine. I found my routine. Mine was to work out and play video games too.
So speaking of track, well, real quick, just about on the difference between boomers and fast tags. I heard y'all actually had like an area where you can have a fucking track, man. Not like a big track, but a nice area to run around.
Yeah, so it wasn't an actual track, but it was around the missile tubes. And yeah, you can literally run around it. You got to be careful because, like on any submarine, they're not built for safety when it comes to pipes.
Oh no!
Pipes and shit will be fucking protruding out of every corner, literally. And if you're taking a corner too fast, or if you're running or you're too high, you could bust your head in a pipe.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or screw it. You know, it's crazy. But yeah, there was a little path on shore where we can literally run around.
But yeah, I feel you, man. We gotta get back on. Like we had to get on routines, man. Like I did the same thing. We worked out. It was me and my partner. I'm gonna shout him out real quick, Zach Pearson. Um, he was my workout dude, man. Underway. So we had the same watch schedule. Me and him actually hot racked together at one point doing our little time, man. Then we end up switching. Then we end up being in the same section. I think one underway was in the same section, and it just ended up being like that for rest of the time we was on the boat. But we was my workout buddy, and we used to work out on the oncoming. So I used to wake up maybe 2 hours before we actually had to get on watch, do our little workout, and then. But we used to have a set, like you said, you gotta get into a schedule, because if you don't get into a schedule and you just try to like make it, you're not gonna make it, because you're gonna fucking go crazy, man.
You will go crazy. I love that you just said that, dude. You will literally go crazy if you don't find a routine, man. You have to find something to occupy your mind. Because if your mind is just wandering, it'll be fucking wrong. And, you know, it, there's been people that never found a routine, and they actually do have breakdowns and stuff, man. You have to have a routine. So yeah, mine was to work out. I had a couple buddies I worked out with. Shout out my buddy Bombard. Um, he was an egg ganger. He was a big dude. He was tall. He was muscular, and we'd fucking work out and shit like that. And that was part of the routine too, dude. Like we'd do that. There was a point where he was actually driving the sub with me as an egg ganger. He was kind of a new guy, so he hadn't qualified all the stuff in the whatever the fuck they qualify.
Right.
And so we work out all the time and stuff like that. And yeah. I'm trying not to make our experience sound so negative to people that might be coming into submarines or the Navy and stuff like that. But like we said in the beginning, we're going to be telling the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Right.
And a lot of the stuff, it might sound a little negative. But I'm going to say I had more good times on the submarine than I had bad times.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to get into the good times. We're going to definitely get into the good times, because, I mean, with anything that you do in life, there's going to be some bad days, but there's going to be a lot of good days that outweigh the bad days. Like, if some shit was to go down right now and they asked me to get back on the sub, I'd probably go ahead and do it. But it's like it's one of those, it's a brotherhood, man. It's like a fraternity.
Yeah, it's crazy, man, because you wouldn't even have to serve on the same submarine, to be honest. Like you and I, for example, right? We met in Charleston, which we'll get into Charleston later on. But we both had to fish, and there's something about it. You're just like, all right, well, he has fish, we can be cool, regardless of where you're from the States, what your background is. You look on your dude's chest and he has that warfare pin, then, like, all right, cool. Well, I know he's going to be cool with me because he has the warfare pin. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some douchebags in submarine force. There's douchebags everywhere. But for the most part, if you have dolphins and you see someone else with dolphins, you're going to be pretty cool with each other.
Right.
Which, it's crazy because you and I didn't know each other when we were on submarines. We met in Charleston, and God, that was 8 years ago? Charleston was? I don't even remember. It was a long time ago.
Probably. Yeah, Charleston was a minute ago. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. So maybe even more than that. I don't even know.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to discourage new guys that are joining the Navy or might be considering submarines or anything like that.
Like I said,
a lot of the stuff you need to be figuring out for yourself. We're just telling our side of it, No,
we're just talking from our experience. And the submarine life for us, being in it, and the people that we've been around, that's our community. That's what we know. And it's kind of submarine community from me looking back on it was like take it or leave it type deal.
Yeah.
You take it or leave it. Hey, you gonna be in it, be in it. If you're not gonna be in it, then
It reminds me of kind of like, have you ever watched Sons of Anarchy? Like
Yeah.
You know, you got the prospect, and then you have your guys that are actually in the club and everything like that. There are
Right.
past members. So like the prospect, obviously it's kind of a poor comparison, but the prospect is kind of like the nubs. They get treated badly, and they have to show that they really want to be there. They want to be part of the club.
Right.
Well, it's kind of the same for submarines. You get your nubs, which are basically your prospects, and they're going to be treated bad, and they have to prove that they really want to be submariners and that they can be trusted to
Yep.
wear that warfare pin. And I know it's not the same exact comparison, you know, a motorcycle club to
Yeah. Yes.
submarine, but you know, the end result's kind of the same. You go through a process of being treated poorly to being part of a brotherhood, you know, and
Right.
that really is a real thing.
Yeah, it really is. It's, like I said, man. I said it was like a fraternity. Like you,
Yeah, yeah,
I went to Big Lot a few years back. No, just fucking buy a couch. And the dude, older black dude, who we sitting there chomping it up, and he brought his keys out, and just quick glance, man, you know, I saw the Dolphins on his keys. Like, hey man, you served? Oh yeah, man, you know, I was on motherfucking the Turtle. If y'all know, the Turtle was the fucking first submarine ever, man. He served submarines. I was like, man, I'm a submarine dude too. He was like, bullshit. I was
yeah.
like, yeah, man, I was sub dude, this, and them, and we chopped it up for about 20 minutes, just talking about sub life. And he was in submarines when the shit was real.
Yeah.
Like we didn't when back then when they had fucking hand cranks for when you driving the ship and shit. You know, now we got little steering wheels, little shit like that. But
I
they
think it's like joysticks now. Uh,
oh
like
that
we had like wheels like how a pilot does in the plane, but I think nowadays, like 2020,
yeah
you have like joysticks and shit. Like their fucking technology's out
that
of the world.
fucking
You know, I drive
Virginia
it.
Virginia class, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's just crazy. Like you, I didn't even like never met the dude before, whatever. But the fact that he had dolphins, and I told him about my story, and we can actually talk back and forth, like that's a fucking brother. Like that's a brotherhood, man. Like you got all these different fraternities and shit that people pledge. That was like my fraternity. Like, hey man, submarine
and
community.
it's cool too. Like the rare times when you actually go out into the public, us being civilians now, and meeting someone that was on submarines.
Mm-hmm.
It's a rare opportunity, but it's really cool because you don't even have to know the person, but you can just jump into some random conversation and act like old buddies. You
Yeah,
know, it's really cool. Like you said, it's a fraternity. You know, like the age difference doesn't matter. There can be a huge age gap where a guy can be 20 years old talking to a 70-year-old and they'll still be shooting the shit like they're old buddies. You know,
yeah,
and yeah, it's really cool, man. Um, yeah,
yeah, man. I want to say thank you again, man, everybody for tuning in to the USSC stories. We love the support that you've given everybody, you giving us with the likes, man, with the views. It's beautiful, man. Keep sharing our videos, like, share, comment, subscribe, turn on your notifications, give us some feedback, let us know what you want to talk about, uh, what you want us to kind of discuss. Give us some questions so we can answer them for you, man. Thank you again for the support. I'm Mike. That's Evan. And we signing out.